It has been 122 days since Russian forces launched an all-out attack against Ukraine. And over 4 months on, an end to this war is nowhere in sight. In the latest, explosions rocked a residential neighbourhood in Kyiv as G7 leaders gathered in Germany. There had been no major strikes on central Kyiv since June. But in the early hours of Sunday morning, up to 4 explosions rang out in the capital city of Ukraine, with at least 2 residential buildings struck.
Our city destroyed more than 220 apartments building where live people, civilians. And before right now the summit NATO, they attacked. It's maybe symbolic aggression during these days. It's a symbolic attack because the last attack, this was as General Secretary United Nations visited Kyiv.
The Kyiv mayor visited the scene of the explosion and said that the Russian missile strike was intentioned to intimidate Ukrainians. The attack on Kyiv was the first attack on the capital in nearly 3 weeks and happened as the G7 leaders gathered to discuss their backing of Ukraine against Russia's invasion. With a crucial NATO meeting set to follow in days, at least 5 people were wounded, and a 7-year-old girl was pulled out of the rubble as firefighters continue to rescue more people from the missile-hit residential neighbourhood. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who is expected to address both the G7 and NATO gatherings, confirmed that the cities as far away as Lviv, near the Polish border, had been struck by a wave of attacks on Saturday. Hours after the attack on Kyiv, the Ukrainian government called for the G7 leaders meeting in Germany to give more weapons to Ukraine and impose further sanctions on Moscow. Our Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba went on Twitter to write, and I quote, "G7 summit must respond with more sanctions on Russia and more heavy arms for Ukraine. Russia's sick imperialism must be defeated." Other countries also reached out in support of Ukraine. Britain announced it would join together with fellow G7 powers, Canada, Japan, and the United States, in banning Russian gold exports to stop oligarchs from buying the precious metal to avoid sanctions aimed at Moscow. At their meeting in the Bavarian Alps, the Western allies will consider possible new aid for Kyiv and begin turning their eye to longer-term reconstruction plans. Meanwhile, Russian Defense Ministry aired footage showing Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu inspecting Russian troops' units involved in Ukraine. In the video, the Russian minister can be seen presenting soldiers with medals in an undisclosed location.
I have faith in you. You have many more glorious deeds ahead for the good of our homeland, armed forces, and airborne troops. I congratulate you. Take care.
WION, now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.